What up, G-Life fam? It's your boy MC Shadow coming at you with another video. You already know. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out the playlist where I have all the videos in their own folders. On the top it says playlist. The videos in their own folder makes the video you're looking for a lot easier. Whether it's reactions or just music or just the gang files, you know, all of that is in their own folders. Now, what I wanted to talk about, because this actually gets asked a lot when I do the G series, is they don't really understand what do I mean by cliques when I'm talking about the gangs. They don't understand the whole, you know, having clickas and all that. Now, gangs have sub-cliques. Not all of them, but a majority of them do. They have sub-cliques. And not only Hispanic gangs, but so do African-American gangs, Asian gangs, and white gangs, and yada, yada, yada. They have sub-cliques. Now, what do I mean? What's the sub-clique? It's kind of like... the gang is broken into groups, right? It's kind of like saying, you have a friend, right? Who's your best friend, and he introduces you to his friends. So then you have your set of friends, but this is your best homeboy, and then he introduces you to his friends. So you and his friends become friends. You guys are all friends, but at the end, you're gonna go kick it with your homeboys before you're gonna go kick it with his homeboys, you know what I mean? But if your homeboys ain't down to kick it, well then you show up, you know, go kick it with them, you know what I mean? Plan B, I guess you could say. You know, because the gang is big. You have to understand the gang is big, you know what I mean? There's a lot of members, you know, and to be hanging out with everybody and stuff like that, it does occur, you know, when you have get-togethers and stuff like that. But you guys all tend to kick it in the individual groups and in different spots. You know, you could catch some homies chilling by the alley. You catch some homies chilling by the park. Some other homies are chilling at the homeboys pad. Some other homies are just right down the block. And then you have some of the homies that are over there. You know what I mean? You have different groups of homeboys, but you guys are all from the same gang. You know what I mean? You're just gonna have like your group of road dogs. They're like they're your best friends, right? You have friends and you have best friends. You know what I mean? So the clique that you're from will be the group of your best friends, but the closest of your circle. That is the reason why you're from that clique, why you chose that clique. You know what I mean? Now how does cliques work? Now when you get jumped in, different gangs do different ways of doing it. I'm gonna just go based on like how we do it. You have to get jumped in by members from that clique, right? You get jumped in by that clique, so that's the clique that you're from, right? Because that's the members that you got jumped in by were from that clique. Now there's sometimes where you can get jumped in by a member from one clique, and then like 3 are from your clique, or 3 are from the clique that you're gonna get into, and then 2 are from a different clique. You have your options of choosing which clique you want to be from. And obviously you're gonna choose the one with your closest friends, you know, in it. But you get what I mean? So that's pretty much how sub cliques work. And sub cliques, they get their name as in like whatever name that they have, right? Like whoever started it, the name that they gave it. It's normally named after you know, something that a homeboy named it, or the nickname of a well-respected individual from that neighborhood. If that was his nickname, you know what I mean? And they just out of respect, they decided to name the clique, you know, after that individual. You know, hence why you get like names like Los Malos, you know, after the homie Malo or whatever, or Diablos named after the homie Diablo, you know, like stuff like that. You get what I mean? And sometimes they're named after streets, you know what I mean? The cliques are named on the street that you guys kick it at, or at the park you kick it at. That is how they get their names as well. You know what I mean? Like I'll use an example, like I'm talking about my neighborhood. My neighborhood, we have 6 cliques. We have the youngsters and the locals, were the 2 original cliques from my neighborhood. You know, when the neighborhood started, it was two different clickas coming together to form my neighborhood. So they split them into that. They could have kept their original names, but since the 2 cliques had like a little bit of conflict, they decided to drop all of that and just like start fresh. So they just named themselves the locals was one group, and then the youngsters were the other group. That's how, you know what I mean? And then we have the winos, named after one of the homies who used to like to drink. That's the reason why it's the winos. And you had the pequeños, which is the peewees, because they were the new batch of youngster homies that had gotten in. They used to belong to a crew, so they got into the bunch of the new. That's why they got the name, you know, peewees, because they were the youngsters. You have and then you have the avenues. The reason why avenues is because every street in our block is an avenue. You know, they're all avenues. Each and every one of them is an avenue. You know, from Agnes to Ben to Hines to Gentry to DeHaan to Morella to Simpson. They're all avenues, and that is the reason why we call it. We gave it the name Avenues. You know what I mean? And then you have the Tiny Maniacs, which was a tag banging crew that got in, and they just earned our respect to keep the name of their tag banging crew, who was named by their original founder from that crew. You know what I mean? Now, so that's how, you know, cliques are given names. So that's why when you get jumped in, it tends to be the more the person who brought you in, you know, who introduced you to all the homies. Your road dog, pues. That's the reason why you end up getting from that clique. So there's subgroups, right? You guys are all from the same gang, but you're gonna have just your group of your road dogs, you know what I mean, that you hang out with, you know, because not everyone tends to kick it all together, you know what I mean? Because some cliques are more generational, you know, like some cliques, like every 10 years a new clique starts, you know what I mean? Like every time there's a new batch of youngsters, you know, they get, you know, a new clique or whatever. Because there's like big neighborhoods like Florence or 18th Street or gangs like that, they have like 30 cliques, you know what I mean? They have like a gang of cliques. You know, and then there's some neighborhoods that only have like 3 cliques, and then, you know, and yada yada. Depending on the size of your neighborhood, the bigger it is, the more cliques you're gonna have. You know, just because the you know how you guys are just spreading out everywhere, it's hard to keep track of everybody, you know what I mean? So everyone just, you know, gets their group of homeboys and just give them their names, and that's who your crowd is. Because even when shit cracks, like let's say if you get jumped, or let's say if you're gonna go do a mission and you're in a G ride, you automatically already have who you're gonna go pick up in your head, or who you're gonna call right off the bat, you know what I mean? I mean, all the homies are down to do the jale with you, and all the homies are down to go put in work and everything like that, but everyone already has an idea of who they're gonna hit up or what names are in their heads, you know? If anything cracks, that's the first numbers you're gonna be dialing. You already have your batch of homeboys, that's what I'm saying, you know what I mean? You already know who you know go to, because that's your group, that's your road dog. I mean, all the homies are down, you can just roll up and pick up any homie, but you already automatically kind of really know who you know who's your group, you know what I mean? So that's why Barrios have like sub cliques and stuff like that, you know what I mean? You know, it's just different crowds, different places where people hang out, you know, the different, I mean, you guys are all friends at the end, but you're just gonna have your closest, you know, your close bunch, you know what I mean? Some homies are tight, some homies have more tighter bonds than others, because look, a neighborhood is actually like a family. It really is. You know, like kind of like you have some cousins that you're really close with, but then you have some cousins that you're not close with. That is how a neighborhood works. And you know how you have some cousins that you don't even like them guys, but you guys are all from the same family? Same with the neighborhood. There's some homies that fools can't even stand, but you guys are from the same hood. That's just the way it is. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand we're human beings. Human beings are very disorganized, you know what I mean? We have a lot of flaws, you know, due to our emotions. We're emotional creatures, you know what I mean? The emotions will always get the best out of a human being. That is the reason why we have so many flaws. But it's normal, though, you know. That is normal. You know, for those who say that it's not, clearly has their heads up their ass. Anyway. Like, let me diving into the psychology of it, huh? Nah, okay. So yeah, so that's pretty much how neighborhoods run. So that is the reason why, you know, you see all these sub cliques. You know, like you see the neighborhood's always gonna be hit up first. You know, so the homies always put the neighborhood. You know, sometimes they do put the clique too. I mean, it's not mandatory you put the clique. You know, that's if you want or whatever. But yeah, you always see the neighborhood first. It's not like homies are just gonna hit up the clique and I hit up the hood. Like, nah, you gotta hit up the hood, and you know what I mean? Because that's like now. There is now in my neighborhood, all the cliques get along. There's no clique banging between us. I honestly think that is stupid and nonsense, and I don't even know how they let that happen or how does that even occur. But it does happen. There's neighborhoods where the cliques don't get along with each other. How the fuck is that? I have no idea. I don't know. I guess their big homies must have not. I don't know, dog. To be honest with you, I have no idea, because I have never been stuck in that scenario to understand why. Even when homies that belong to neighborhoods who have that and they explained it to me, it still never made any sense. But that's just my opinion on that. You know what I mean? You know, because even they think it's dumb. Now there's that, you know, where the cliques don't get along with each other. So they and 9 times out of 10 they end up splitting off and going their own separate ways. So it becomes two different gangs, but with the same name. Just they'll always write their clique. For that one, their clique will always be up. You know what I mean? They'll write the name of the hood that they at, but then they'll write their clique. They'll always make sure the clique is on there, homie, because it becomes now two separate gangs. You know, if you just write the name, they're gonna think, you know, which hood is it? That's why they always write the cliques. Now, there's some that write the city, right? Like, let's say if they're from Linwood, Compton, Pacoima, people think it's the same gang and that those are the cliques. No, for them, those are all individual gangs. They just write the name of which city that they're from because they're prideful in the area that they come from. You know, like Compton neighborhoods do, like Linwood neighborhoods do, like Pacoima neighborhoods do, like Whittier neighborhoods do. You know, certain locations, they're proud of the city that they're from, so they always write their city, but, you know, they're all different gangs. It's not the same thing. Compared to a neighborhood where it's cliques, you know, like that's not the name of the city or the name of the, you know, the area they're coming from. Like that's the name of the street that they're at. So you're not gonna have a neighborhood claiming the same street but just being different gangs, but it's on the same street. That would be ridiculous. Which in the city is different because the city is large. I mean, it's really hard to keep track of because you can't be everywhere at once. You know what I mean? That's something I always say. And neighborhoods run a vast territory where they roam around, right? And where they have homies living in something. But there's some patches here and there where it's just hard to keep track of. That's how you get these new things always coming up. You know, because it's just hard to keep track of so many land. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of human beings in this world, and to keep track of every human being is a fucking tough task that not even the government can do. You know what I mean? It's just hard keeping track of everybody. You know, but that's pretty much how it goes down. So I know it becomes a little bit complex and confusing. You know what I mean? But yeah, well, hopefully that helps people understand. You know, the clickas and all of that. You know what I mean? Passing the projects, if you need projects. So homies right there. Oh yeah, but yeah, that's what's up with the neighborhoods right there, and you know, the clickas, and hope understand, you know, stuff better. And Shadow, we out.